Craft House. My name is Ben, and this is going to be our next installment of What's the Fuss, a segment where I talk about recent controversy and throw in my measly 2 cents on the matter. Spotlight for this episode, we have Mass Effect Andromeda, which released on Tuesday, March 21st on the PC, Xbox One, and the PS4. This week, I've been flooded with questions about how I felt about Andromeda. A lot of people are asking not because they're interested in the game, but to actually see if the game is actual shit. And just real quick, I can say that yes, there's a lot of flaws with this game. It is very unpolished, but it's still a really fun game. I'm having a really good time playing it. I honestly even considered skipping this video just so that way I can continue playing the game. Yeah, sorry. So I do feel like I need to bring up a small disclaimer. I am a BioWare fan. I am a huge fan of the original Mass Effect trilogy. I love their other games such as Dragon Age series, the Jade Empire, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm a fan of BioWare. I consider some of these games to be one of my all-time favorites, such as the Mass Effect series. I am a huge fan of the Mass Effect series. And with that being said, I am a veteran coming into Mass Effect Andromeda. But I will try my hardest to not let my personal opinions and feelings towards BioWare and their other games to affect my view on Mass Effect Andromeda. If BioWare dropped the ball, there's nobody to be more upset than us veterans, than me, than you, than anyone who has followed BioWare throughout the years. So I've been talking about controversy, but I haven't actually said what the controversy is. So earlier on in the video, I explained how Mass Effect just came out recently, and before it was released, EA, the publisher, put a review embargo on the game, and it wasn't lifted until Monday, the day before it was released. And that means that reviewers and critics of the games couldn't release their reviews until the embargo lifted. However, EA also did a play first trial for Mass Effect Andromeda through their EA Access program. It's a program that if you pay $5 a month or $30 a year, you get to play full EA titles through that subscription service. So if you had this subscription service, EA Access, then you can play Mass Effect Andromeda early. That allowed regular gamers like you and me to get their hands on Andromeda before it was actually released and before the review embargo was lifted, but I'll talk more about that later. So the game released early for EA Access members, and lo and behold, people were upset. The facial and body animations were terrible, the voice acting was very questionable, the story was bland and unoriginal, the characters you just couldn't connect with, all of these texture pop-ins and general glitches. People were upset because they genuinely expected more from BioWare. BioWare is the developer, by the way. They expected something that was going to take them to the next level, not something that was going to keep them on previous generation consoles. Almost immediately, social media and forums like Reddit were filled with people that were just showing off all these terrible animations and hating on the game so much and just grabbing their pitchforks and going after Frankenstein's monster. People were extremely sad and upset that it didn't live up to the hype that they built. Now, once the review embargo was lifted and the reviews started coming out, the game actually averages a 76 out of 100 on Metacritic, which isn't a bad score. It's not Game of the Year material, but it's not a bad score. I don't have EA Access. I wasn't able to play the first trial, but I decided that BioWare deserved more from me. They earned so much of my trust. They created all of these wonderful moments. They created a lot of my favorite games. They deserve for me to go out there, get my own opinion on the game, go out there, try it out, pick up the game, and see what it is. See what they created. They deserved a chance from me. So I picked up the game on release day, and so far I put about 15 to 20 hours into it, and yes, there are plenty of flaws, some of them making me scratch my head and ask, how did this get past playtesting? Quality testing, quality control, what BioWare? But it wasn't anything game-breaking, it wasn't anything terrible. And I'm genuinely still excited to play the game. I even put down Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I'm having a blast with, but I actually honestly didn't pick it back up since Andromeda came out. I'm about to get blasted. I can see this already. I'm about to get blasted. I'm having a blast with Zelda. I love it. I think this is, if everything, if nothing else great comes out, this Zelda will be Game of the Year. But I'm going to get back to it once I'm done with Andromeda. Like, just give me a month or two, please. But we're not here to talk about Zelda. We're here to talk about Mass Effect. And I'm having a lot of fun with Mass Effect Andromeda, and I highly encourage people to go out there and pick it up, rent it, play a friend's copy. It's good. It's not fantastic, it's not brilliant, it's not mind-blowing, but it's still good. Like I said earlier, it's so easy to jump on the hate train and pick up your pitchforks and go after Frankenstein's monster, but honestly, it's also so easy to fall in love with something just because everybody else is falling in love with. It's a two-edged sword. I digress. So there are 3 reasons why I don't believe that this game deserves to be ripped apart. The first, it's kind of hard to shine whenever you're following this line of success so far this year. You had Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Resident Evil 7, Nier Automata, Neo. All of these games were blockbusters. They're fun. They're great. People are having a blast playing these games. Then here comes Mass Effect Andromeda, not as polished, not as shiny, and it immediately gets ripped upon. It's being treated as absolute crap. And I feel that that's a tad bit unfair. It doesn't deserve that much hate. It doesn't deserve the hate that people go on forums and post, oh, this is 0 out of 10, blah, blah, the character creation was bad. I never even played it, but just 0 out of 10. Just, no, man, like, stop that. Like I said, it's not Game of the Year material, but it's still very fun. It deserves better than a 0 out of 10. With the stage being set by all these fantastic games, it's extremely hard to shine, and any flaw that you have, no matter how small it is, it's going to stick out. The second reason I think that it's getting shit on is because of the nostalgic rose-tinted glasses situation. When I think back on the original trilogy, I think of these epic moments. I think of the Normandy taking down Sovereign in Mass Effect 1. I think of shooting practice with Garrus in Mass Effect 3. I think of Liara's ascension as the Shadow Broker. I think of the Citadel DLC. I think of all these fantastic moments that touched me. You know what I don't think about? All the glitches, the questionable voice acting.
You big stupid jellyfish.
All the bad. I don't think about all that because Mass Effect as a whole was able to touch me because I gave it that chance. I'm thinking about all these excellent things. I don't think about all the bad stuff. All these terrible animations, they were in the original trilogy. All these weird voice acting, they were there. The story, kind of generic, and it's there. It was Mass Effect. As an example, growing up, I used to watch this movie, A Night at the Roxbury. Oh my god, Night at the Roxbury starring Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell. I was obsessed with this movie whenever it came out in '98. I remember renting it from pay-per-view, like calling up my parents while they were at work and like, hey, can I please, it's $2, can I just rent it? No, whatever, and just to get off the phone with me, they'll say, yeah, sure, and I watched this movie over and over and over. I was obsessed with this movie. And I remember talking about it with friends and just remembering all the funny parts, all the funny little, like the head bob and all the stupid corny jokes.
I broke the window again.
Yeah, I went and watched it about a decade later. And oh my god, that movie was complete shit. It was so bad. But I remember it so fondly because at the time I enjoyed it so much. I don't think about how terrible the movie was. I think about how god awful. Oh man, these stupid jokes. I remember how it made me feel at that time. And sure, it was a shit movie, but it's still, it's such a shit movie. I can't. Horrible movie, but I don't remember it as being so bad. I'm still laughing and enjoying it today, even because it's so bad. And why is that? Because of these rose-tinted nostalgic glasses that I have on it. And finally, the third reason why I don't feel that Mass Effect should be ripped apart is because they allowed the general public to get their hands and start screaming about how terrible the game was before reviewers and critics were able to get their voices out there. And that's due to EA Access and the review embargo. This allowed the vocal minority to spring into action and start tearing this game down to just nothing. People wanted to make the biggest fuss about what went wrong and didn't want to talk about what actually went right. And that's kind of a bigger deal than I originally thought. People were completely turned off from it the moment that they heard all of these people bad-mouthing it. They didn't actually take it upon themselves to actually pick it up and see how fun the combat was. They didn't see how amazing the music was, or actually how good the story actually is. The characters aren't that bland. Animations are bad, but they're not that bad. Whenever I see somebody talking about the animations, I'll always see the same examples. The NPC trying to sneak up on that other person, or whenever a writer is trying to pass a pineapple through their ass. They never show the good animations. They never show the moments that are actually fun. They always show the bad moments. And that's a shame because there's plenty of good moments in the game. There's plenty of times where the dialogue option was open and I had to sit there for a good 5 minutes to determine what the hell do I select. Do I let this person die or do I save them? Do I do this? Do I do that? What? This is a big moral dilemma. There's actually only one time that my immersion was broken from the game, and that was the trying to pass a pineapple through their ass scene. But everything else was a minor nuisance. It wasn't that bad, and it's still really fun, and I'm having such a great time with the game. I highly encourage everybody out there to go out and get your own opinion. The game's fun, I promise. Don't join the hate train just because it's so easy to do that, and just because you see a couple of these examples that really stand out to people. You really just try it yourself. It's really good. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up so that way I can get back into the game. I'm curious, did you pick it up? Are you having fun? Are you not having fun? Is this just silly for you? Let us know in the comments, talk to us, I wanna know this stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you're new around here, tap that subscribe button. As always, this is Packed House, my name is Ben, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!